we're live. Welcome back, Shifties. Welcome back to Shift the Journey. It's been a while. It's been a
Yeah.
while. It's been a journey.
Yeah.
Actually, I'm pretty sure that it's been a month. The
Hmm.
last episode we had, I had Eric Hoffman on here,
Hmm.
and then like a couple days later, I went to Belize on a mission trip, and then I was gone for like a week, and
Well,
then uh, and then my next guest had to reschedule. So here we are, a month later.
hmm.
But
Yeah.
it's cool because today's guest is Yamil Medina. Yay!
You're having me
Yamil and
here.
I used to work together a
Hmm.
few years ago. We worked together a
Yeah.
few years ago, and he had a show. You had a
Yeah.
show that
Right.
where you like um were examining people's visualizations,
Visualization.
right?
Visualization. Yeah.
And I was like, man, I would love to host a show. I wonder if there's any company that would let me host a show. And then I was like, why don't I just host a show just to
Yourself.
host a show? And
Yeah.
here we are. Here
Well,
we are. So,
yeah. Yeah.
yeah. So, like some particulars. If anybody's out there, it's like if anybody's out there, hey, if you're out there in YouTube land or LinkedIn or in Facebook land, I put it on Facebook so my mom can watch. If you guys are out there and you have any questions or you have anything to say, put something in the chat.
That's
You're
right.
not you're not disturbing us. We'll talk about what you have to say. Just keep it clean because, like I said, my mom is watching. All
Yeah.
right. So
That's
let's
right.
let's get into it. The
Mhm.
our 5-time Tableau ambassador here,
Mhm.
Emil. So tell me where you're from originally.
So I'm originally from Puerto Rico. Puerto Rico. Yeah.
Boricua.
Puerto Rico. The king, the born. Maybe some people have heard of the reggaeton. So
Yeah.
yeah, I was born in the islands, and the island of Puerto Rico. Was born and raised there, and I was privileged at 18, probably 19 years old. I was like 19 and a half or 19 years old. I was at the University of Puerto Rico, which is kind of like a state university, like any
Hmm.
other state university. And I was lucky to apply for an exchange student program, and I went to West Virginia University. That's where they sent me. And
Wow.
yes, yes,
That's I would say that's a little bit different than
yes,
the like
the
Caribbean
Caribbean.
tropical life.
Oh yeah, yeah. It,
So
it was a funny story. So I graduated from West Virginia University, so WVU, the Mountaineers. You probably
yeah.
heard about that. Um, so I wasn't supposed to graduate from there because you're supposed to go back home. It's only a year that you supposed to stay in the exchange student program.
Yeah.
But when I was there was not almost no students that were from the Caribbean or even from Latin America. There was just a few,
Wow.
and this was in the '90s, so a long time ago. And then
Hey,
yeah,
hey, easy on that, okay? All right. Easy
yeah,
on
yeah,
that.
the end of the '90s. So the college, I mean, actually the college, and I'm sorry, no, the university, it's not college, the university, right, actually asked me if I wanted to stay, and they could help me a little bit, and of course I had to pay, but it wasn't that bad, and I like the university. I mean, I have very good friends there, and I said, well, this is a great opportunity. It was super cold, super different than Puerto Rico, of course. Puerto Rico, we have the beach is amazing, and I actually in Puerto Rico used to live 15 minutes from the beach. And pretty much if you live in Puerto Rico, you can go to the beach every day.
Yeah.
So, and I decided, well, I can stay here for a few more years. And I graduated from WBU with a finance degree,
Wow.
bachelor's in finance. I always love finance and accounting, but
Yeah.
I like finance, I think, a little bit better. So I stayed in finance, and then I went back to Puerto Rico actually,
Yeah.
because I mean, it worked. I mean, coming from the U.S., going back to Puerto Rico on those years, and then your English, will improve substantially because I
Yeah.
used to only speak Spanish,
Okay.
and then I went back, and it helped me land a job with Morgan Stanley. So I
Okay.
worked with Morgan Stanley.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
saw that. Yeah, you're a
mhm,
financial advisor, huh?
financial advisor. Yeah, with
Yeah.
Morgan Stanley.
So, one thing about West Virginia, were you able to find a place in town that had good mofongo?
Oh no, but I did found some Cuban food, and
Okay.
but it was hard. It was almost
Oh,
no,
I bet.
almost none, almost none. So this college, university is in Morgantown, West Virginia,
Yeah.
and we are they are very close to Pittsburgh.
Oh, okay.
So actually, when I fly from uh, Puerto Rico to West Virginia, I have to go through Pittsburgh. I mean, I don't know if now it's different, but this was more than 20 years ago,
Yeah.
well, 30 years ago or so.
Yeah.
So I'm not sure how it's now, but I used to go through Pittsburgh, and in Pittsburgh you could find, of course, more food from other countries and stuff like that,
Yeah.
or Latin food. So and the students used to go to Pittsburgh. We used to go sometimes on the weekends or something, because it was the closest city from the university. So that was fun. Now, after a year or two that I stayed there, I did found more Latinos and people from Spain, because I stayed longer, and I was able to find them,
Yeah.
and it was fun. It was a lot of fun. So I had roommates from Colombia, Sevilla, Madrid. Like
Yeah.
a lot of good friends. So it was fun. I mean, it was super fun. Some
Yeah.
of them even came to me to Puerto Rico. I invited some to Puerto Rico, and
Oh,
we
that's
went
cool.
on, spring break or summers. We have friends. I'm still have some of those friends up to now that are from Spain, which is pretty cool. So I went back to Puerto Rico, worked with Morgan Stanley and some banks, and local banks. Those are pretty large banks, but local banks and in the Caribbean. And then I was more on the stock market, financial advisor, investment banking, those type of roles.
Mm.
But then when the market crashed with the internet bubble, the dot com bubble,
Oh, yeah.
yeah, I went. It kicked me out of the market pretty much. I mean, I
Mm.
just pretty much didn't have a job, and then I decided to move to Orlando, and then I met my wife, got married. We got married in Puerto Rico, but then we decided to relocate to Orlando.
Yeah.
And then she went to school, back to college, and I completed my MBA when I was in Orlando.
Yeah.
When I came back to Orlando, yeah.
Yeah.
So it was fun. I mean, but I always liked the data thing. Like I always
Yeah,
liked
I was about to
reporting.
ask you about that.
Yeah.
Like, what was your introduction into data, like, as a
So
financial
yes.
analyst?
So when I came to Orlando, it was tough to find a good job. It was really difficult. So, and I was going for my MBA, but it was kind of difficult. So I started working with SunTrust banks. You probably remember the old SunTrust banks,
Yeah.
which is now, I think, is Truist Bank. I think they merged with Truist.
Mm.
But the SunTrust Bank. So that was my first job when I came back to the States in Orlando. So I worked with them for like, I think, 8 or 9 years. And I worked with what they call FDR, or in bank card. So that's a Visa, MasterCard, acquire
Oh,
issuers. It
okay,
was
yeah.
more like it was more accounting and finance role. So
Okay,
instead of being investment banking, Morgan Stanley, investment stocks, bonds, this was more really core back to accounting and finance.
okay.
And I did because I didn't have. It was kind of tough in those years to find a good job, especially here in Orlando.
Mm.
Honestly, there were not that honestly that many great jobs that I could find, and you had to go to the office every day. There was
Yeah.
no options, no options for that. There was no option. I know nobody
Yeah.
ever talked about working from home. I didn't even know what that was. So
Yeah.
no, that was not existent anymore. So I went back to that type of role, and which is more like accounting and finance. And then I started doing more data stuff in that
Okay.
role,
Okay,
where
yeah.
I was doing more like I started working with some very old BI tools
Oh,
like
like
business
what?
objects. Yeah,
Oh, Bob J.
yeah. And
Yeah.
there was one Cognos.
Cognos, yeah.
Cognos.
Oh, yeah. I
Was
got my feet wet on
Yeah.
Cognos.
No, I didn't like work with it like extensively, but I did work with it a little bit.
Mhm.
and FDR, which is first data resources, if I'm not wrong. I think that's what it's called, FDR. It's a massive BI tool similar to business object and things like that,
Mm.
where it's more for bank cards, some for like
Okay.
Visa, Mastercard,
Yeah.
and transactions for Visa, Mastercard
Okay.
transactions,
Yeah.
where you have to reconcile all that stuff. So I started getting involved, like I started liking like the thing about the like data oriented reporting,
Hmm.
things like that. But I was not doing real BI or visualizations yet, because on those years I don't think that Tableau was a thing, or even existed. I'm not sure
What year
if it
was
was
that?
out there. That was like early 2000, probably.
Yeah, probably not.
Probably not. I'm
Don't
not
remember.
sure. But if
Yeah.
it was out there at my company, where I was, nobody talked about it. No, nobody was even mentioning or saying anything about BI or anything like that. I don't
Hmm.
remember that. So I
We.
worked there for many, many years, 8 or 10 years, something like that. What I did was involved in, within my group, I was the one doing a lot of, like for example, trying to automate things in Excel, right? Or trying to like
Yeah, I was about to
make,
ask.
yeah, making Excel quicker, faster, easier.
Yeah.
Like a lot of, like they say, a lot of like macros, and trying to do more like, okay, how can we do this faster, easier? Oh, and there
Yeah.
was a tool, you probably know this tool, Tito, called Monarch. Have you ever that
Monarch.
Monarch? Which was like,
No.
you take PDFs and you will scrap them, like take the data out of PDFs and stuff. So it
What?
wasn't. Yeah, it's called Monarch.
No, I
That's
didn't know
my,
about that one.
yeah. So
Interesting.
I did use that a lot, and that was kind of like a little bit of data thing, because you have to do like some kind of like, you have to like start using Access databases, things like that.
Hmm.
But very lightly, very lightly, nothing crazy. Oh, for example, so you were I was doing some transformations with that, but it was nothing like Alteryx, nothing like that, right? Like it was
Yeah.
like very, very early stages.
Yeah.
So I used that and I started liking it, and then I decided that I wanted to like move to some place where they were using better tools and things like that,
Yeah.
and something better. And I always wanted to work with the parks in Orlando, because I'm here in Orlando. So all we have are parks, and more than anything at that time, it was all about parks, the Disney World, Universal Studios, things like that. So I
Hmm.
applied like probably like 100 times to both of them for like 2 years straight. It was very hard to get a job for some reason, and I was lucky, and they called me from Universal Studios, and then I went through like a bunch of interviews, and I landed a job in Consumer Insights.
Okay.
And in Consumer Insights, they do use a ton of great tools.
Hmm.
So they use, for example, they use Alteryx, Qualtrics. That you have heard Qualtrics, probably
Yes.
Qualtrics, Alteryx, Tableau, and you name it. So they were starting, not like they were like doing a lot with it, but it was just starting using it, and they
Hmm.
were interested in all of that, in BI and technology and data stuff. They were very, very interested, and it was just starting. They are part of Comcast, so Comcast owns the parks, and that helped
Oh.
us a lot, because when I started, Comcast was way ahead than many, many companies in the U.S. with Tableau specifically.
Yeah.
Already had a Tableau Zen Master. They were already using Alteryx. They were like really ahead.
Hmm.
And but it was like just starting too. They maybe, I think, when I joined, they started in Comcast 2 or 3 years before I started, so it was all early. And I definitely was one of the first people in Orlando that started using Tableau, probably the
Hmm.
second or third, and I love it. I mean, when I saw that from the beginning, I said, "Wow, this is what I've been waiting all my life." Yeah, and I started using it, and it was great, and this was
Yeah,
like,
it's
mhm,
funny, I tried to explain that
mhm,
to, some people that I worked with, when I was in the Air Force, because my last job in the Air Force was as a data analyst,
mhm.
and so there were still some people there that I knew, and I was like, "Hey, I'm using this thing called Tableau." They're like, "What's that?" I'm like, it's like Excel and PowerPoint had a baby, but it's, like, super powered." And
Yeah.
they're like, "What does that mean?" And I'm like, "Oh, man." My first job using Tableau, I mean, I had Well, I was using Alteryx to, pull the data and
Mhm.
transform it and then, send it over to Tableau. And it was like, tens of millions or hundreds of millions of rows. And then like, creating a data set or something, that Tableau could use. And they're like, wow, I don't even know how we'd be able to use something like that. But it's so crazy when you go from somewhere that has like really like low tech to, and then you just get your hands on something that's like modern. It's like what?
Yeah,
It's so crazy. It's like
exactly.
all the things that I wanted in my life, they're
Yeah,
right
yeah,
here at my fingertips, at my mouse finger. And so yeah.
absolutely. It
So
was great.
how long were you at Universal?
So Universal, I was there for I think almost 9 years or so.
Wow.
Had three different roles, primarily three different roles. So my first role was in consumer insights, and that was a huge change, but fun, fun, fun. That's what I really enjoyed because it was a lot of good data. So it was not finance, not accounting. It was more survey data, and survey data was
Oh,
difficult because
yeah, it's
yeah,
dirty.
yeah, dirty, it's complicated, it's nasty, it's crazy, and that's where I met Andrew. So Andrew, I met him in that role. And the funny story, so anybody probably that heard here this
Andrew Kim. That's
story,
Andrew
Andrew
Kim.
came. So Andrew, I'm gonna tell the story here. No, he likes me to tell the story. So the story was he was also starting to use Tableau, and he already knew Alteryx. He was working for a vitamin company. He was Andrew was not even what everybody think of Andrew right now. He was like super young kid, graduated from college a few years after before I met him. So very fresh. Probably his first job was that job. I'm pretty sure it was his first second job,
Mhm.
and he was doing a lot in that company. He was doing almost everything related to insights, data, whatever. He was doing everything. So you're not gonna believe this. I met him at a Tableau workshop
Okay.
where Tableau, we went and we paid for Tableau. It was like a Tableau. It was not advanced. It was like Tableau, but not. It was not like. It was like. I think it was like it was not advanced. It was kind of like, but it was not also for people that were like beginners. So what intermediate? It was kind of like intermediate, yeah,
Mhm.
intermediate Tableau course. But in those years, you have to go to someplace. You have to go to like an office
Yeah.
or like a place. So we went to a local kind of like college, community college here or something.
Yeah.
And then I didn't know him. He didn't know me. So we went there. We were like 25 students, and we took a few classes, maybe a week of classes. I think it was like 4 or 5 days.
Mhm.
I know that when I went there, I know, wow, that guy, he has really good questions.
Yeah.
So when I was there, he was sitting kind of like in front of me, and I was like, so when we took a break, I just went straight to him. I was like, man, you are so good question. Tell me a little bit how you're using Tableau. So he told me about all of these things that he was doing. So he was way ahead of all the people in the room, and he told me about Alteryx. First time in my life I heard about Alteryx was because of Andrew, and then Andrew told me all these things, and then I was like super impressed with him, and I went back to the my office in Universal, and then because I think it was like half day or something, so I had to go back to the office, and then I texted my boss and I told her, wow, I met this guy, so good, all this stuff, especially on the data side, not like because I was more on the visualization side and the
Yeah.
reporting. And she told me, well, we're looking for someone, talk to him.
Oh,
And then I talked to him, and he was super excited when I told him, look, I we have a job. I don't know if we can pay you the same that you're making, whatever, but apparently we it was good, it was a good
yeah.
pay. And in a few months he was working with me.
Oh, that's so funny.
Yeah.
So what my question is, what was he doing in an intermediate class? Whoa.
I I think I really think yeah, I think that he didn't need it, but I think he went to learn more. I think with Tableau, he was just starting. What
Oh,
he
okay.
was doing was more Altrix database. He was doing everything. He
Oh
was he
yeah,
was the guy that was doing absolutely everything in that company. He was the
yeah.
one transforming the whole data area, everything.
Man, some
Yeah.
things never change, man. This is the big brain guy. I tell people all the time, I said, I used to work with this guy. Big, like probably they say, oh, you only use like 10% of your brain. I'm pretty sure he uses like 99% of his brain.
That's
I'm
right.
like, oh my gosh.
Yeah.
You
So
like, how do you know? I mean, ask him, how do you know about this thing and that thing? Like he's got all the
you don't
experience with all these
you
different
don't even
things.
want to know how much he knows about AI right now. He's
Yeah,
very
I know.
smart. He
I've
he
seen
texts
some
me
of
all
the
the
posts and
time.
I'm like, oh
Yeah,
my gosh, this guy,
yeah,
of course.
of
I'm
course,
not
yeah.
surprised. I'm not surprised.
You're not surprised either. Yeah, yeah. No, I've still talked to Andrew. He went to my house in Atlanta. We met in Atlanta a few times already because he's doing consultant too for Chick-fil-A
Yeah.
with PH Data. Now he's with PH Data, and it was a lot of fun. And I've been, I've still talked to him a lot, and honestly, a lot of the things that I still learn, or like if I want to ask someone to what are you doing, what's out there, what is like important to learn or to do or to whatever, I just call Andrew, text Andrew. So the thing is, it was amazing. I mean, I met him, he came to work with us, and of course he transformed and helped us transform a lot of the things that we were doing. It was amazing. I learned a lot more about Tableau and everything else,
Mhm.
and we did really well. We did really well. But when you have someone like Andrew that's so good at what he does, he will not be there forever. Like that makes
No,
sense.
yeah. Oh
So
yeah.
he left 2 3 years, I think. I stayed 9 years, but he left at the second or third, maybe 2.5. I don't remember. He went to work for another company, which makes sense. And I stayed. And then after he left, I stayed one more year. And then I moved to another role within Universal. So I stayed at
Okay.
Universal, but I moved to another role in more IT related.
Yeah.
Um, but I didn't love it. And then I moved again to digital marketing, which I really love. It was really a lot of
Okay.
fun. So I work also in digital marketing, which is again doing visualizations, Tableau, etc.
Mhm.
And we transform everything, all the data related to digital marketing, which is a lot of fun. I love that data. That's really good data. It's like that's data from the websites, like from like
Yeah, I was gonna say
clicks,
that's
click
it's
stream,
the clicks and then like
the
it's the
opening,
funnel, right?
the funnel, yeah,
Every
everything.
website, like people don't know, every
Campaigns,
website is built to like get you to get
art.
to a certain point so you buy something.
Exactly. Exactly. And
That's the
I worked
funnel.
there. And I also went back to some of the data that I love is sales data. So we went back. We did a lot of sales data, but related to like digital marketing, social media, like you said, the websites, purchase, everything related to digital marketing, campaigns, email campaigns,
Oh yeah.
things
Yep.
like that. So I love all of that data. That was a lot of fun. So I stayed here for a few more years, and then after then COVID came, and
Mm.
we were almost no job because think about it, this is a theme park. We were not selling absolutely
Oh yeah.
nothing. We were
Oh
closed.
yeah.
So from there, I still was talking with Andrew, and then I decided to move to data meeting. That's where I met you. Then
Yeah.
we went to data meeting, and then I became a consultant, which it was fun. I mean, as a consultant, I think I always wanted to try it, so I think it was a good
Yeah.
experience.
Same here.
Definitely, it was a good experience. I didn't know what a consultant was, so I think it was a good experience.
So
I don't think I will do that forever, but I think it was a great experience.
yeah, so how did you get to data meeting? Did
Andrew
Andrew
with Andrew
come?
through Andrew.
Yeah, so he
Yes.
recruited you?
Yes, he
Said,
recruited
"Hey, we
me
need
because
you."
he was doing a lot of building a massive team when he was in a data meeting, and because I used to talk to him all the time because I also, anybody doesn't know, Andrew also lives here in Orlando, so it was easy for me. He only lives like 25 minutes from my house, or 20 minutes, something like 25 minutes. So I decided to join him because honestly, I mean, the parks were it was closed. It was a
Yeah,
disaster. I mean, there was nothing to
yeah.
do, and
Oh, yeah.
this was through COVID, and I could work from home. and that was very attractive. And I was like,
Oh yeah.
working from home, better salary. I'm gonna go back to work with
Yeah.
Andrew. So everything, it was
Mhm.
great. And then so I decided, look, I need to try this. So I think it was great because, and I do recommend it to anyone to try things like that and just get out of your comfort zone and thing. Because I mean, I think that, when I went to work with Andrew, I really did a lot of stuff that I have never done before. And
Yeah.
it's not all about the data side of things. It was more about other things, like other skills, like talking here, like for example, like we're doing right now. I did a lot of
Mhm.
this with him, and because we had that show, so I learned a lot about, for example, how to market yourself and
Yeah.
LinkedIn. How what is a Tableau ambassador? I started doing more things in Tableau Public. It's like it's a good thing when you are, I think, a consultant, because you kind of like learn how to promote yourself. Like you
Oh
learn
yeah.
you learn how to be better at that, like about your skills,
Oh
promote
yeah.
yourself. It's a good thing. I mean, you practice with many different clients.
Yeah, I think that was one of my favorite things about
Yeah.
consulting is, I'm like a year in, and I was like, oh my gosh, I have all these. I think I started out when I first got to data meaning. I think I had like, I don't know, probably like 300 connections on LinkedIn. And when I
Yes.
left, it was like 1,000, and I was there for like less than 2 years.
Correct.
And
Correct.
so, yeah, did you know the story of how I got that job?
No. No.
So I was, I guess you could start it at like where my interest in consulting came up. I went to Tableau conference,
Okay.
TC 2018
Oh
in New
wow.
Orleans, right?
Yeah, I was there. I was there.
And I had you do those brain dates, like you meet up
Yes.
with people and you talk about the different things.
Yes.
And one of the people in the brain date, there were four of us. He was a slalom consultant at the time. It
Mhm.
was oh my gosh, is Nick Hayland,
Okay.
right? Who's
Yeah.
with PH Data, right? And
Mhm.
so he was talking about like consulting, this and that. So we connected on LinkedIn, and then he said, I was living in Nashville at the time, and he said, "Hey, yeah, are you going to be at the at Inspire
Uh-huh.
2019, which was in Nashville?" I was like, if my work lets me go, and so because I was local there, we weren't staying at the
Be
Opryland
nice.
Hotel, right?
Mhm.
So I was just, I went to work, and then I was going to go to work, and then my boss was like, "Hey, there's a class that somebody was in, and then they dropped out of it, so you can go." So I ended up going to Inspire like 6 months later, and I reconnected with Nick, and I was like, "Hey, can you tell me real quick what I need to do to get into consulting?" And so he gave me like a list. You try to do these things, this, and this, and network. And I'm like, I don't know how to do that, right? And so
Exactly.
walking around at Inspire, I keep seeing these signs for data meeting. I was like, what is
Ah,
that? What is that? I ran into my old boss. So I was working for an insurance company at that time, and the guy who hired me was no longer my boss, but he was in one of my classes. He's like, "Hey," so we ended up talking, and he said he was talking about he was doing like some consulting, like he had his own little, company, and he's like coming up against data meaning everywhere in Nashville. He's like, I can't compete with them. And he said, speaking of data meaning, there's this guy over here. And so Josh walks up and he
Josh.
introduces me to Josh. So I met Josh. I'm like, oh, okay. Hey, how's it going? And then like that night, I went to the website and I like put in, people say experts, they say never do like join the talent pool because your application straight into the trash can, right?
Mhm.
But data meaning not a big company, right? So everybody was going to be seen at that time. And so like Megan gave me a call like 2 days later, and then I was on the phone with Josh like a day after that.
Wow.
And it actually, because COVID hit, like I had an interview with Josh and Andrew, and they wanted to hire me, but because COVID hit, I had to wait. Dude, it was like a year and a half. And so by the time I got there, I'd been waiting forever. I was like, it's just never gonna happen. And Josh like calls me out of the like out of the blue, hey, you want to come work for me? I'm like, let's do it. So that's how I got to data
Wow,
meeting. But yeah,
amazing.
it's networking, man. Networking is such a big thing.
Is
Like,
it? It's the thing. It's the thing. And that's true. I think that what helped me, I don't regret it. To go to a media meeting or be a consultant for a few years, is that you learn about networking. You build some networking. You build some good profiles on LinkedIn. It helps you learn how important that is. Like that important is to go to conferences, like you said, a
yeah,
conference, because that's how you meet people.
yeah,
That you can see different companies, that are advertising there, or like you meet different people, then you have connections, and I highly recommend to anyone that it's looking for a job or like trying to do all networking and stuff like that. Go to conference, go to events, go to user groups. It's good. I mean, going to user groups locally or live and online is good. I think the local ones really help, but honestly, the problem is they're not there anymore like before. But when we
mhm,
started, we used to go to user groups at least once a month, at least once a
yeah.
month, and that it really help you. Uh,
Yeah, it
yeah,
was so helpful. They had user groups, like if I felt like every like product
yeah.
had user
Oh yeah,
groups
Alteryx. I used to go
like
to Alteryx too.
left and right, and then COVID hit, and then they all
They
disappeared.
all disappear.
And some of them they stood back up, but they have not been they have not been as active.
Exactly. And people don't know how important that could be. And let me give you an example to anybody that could listen to this. When those user groups were available and you could go to a user group, local user group for any tool, Alteryx, Tableau, Microsoft, SQL. I mean, because there were even user groups for people that are learning SQL or
Mhm.
whatever, Snowflake. It was really good. And the reason was this: when you go, then you could see and you could talk to people that were telling, oh yeah, we use Tableau, and you were like, wow, this company that I didn't know, it's local,
Yeah,
it's close to my house, and use Tableau. And you could ask them, okay, but what version are you using, and
mhm.
like what you guys are doing. And I mean, if you go to an interview, I mean, how much information do you have
You like
ahead of time?
insider information.
Insider information. Yeah, so much.
Yeah,
And that happened with Disney, with Universal, like all these companies, Siemens, Darden restaurants. We met people from Darden restaurant, AAA.
yeah,
All of them were. I mean, many more, but those are the ones that I remember. Used to go to the user group all the time, and I mean, like all the time. And the best part was this: when you send that resume, some of those people that were in that user group probably
oh
were the
god,
ones looking at it, and they will
yeah,
remember your name. Oh, look, Tito, he applied to one of
yeah,
those. I know Tito, and
yeah,
then they will pick you up, or I mean, or like call you or whatever. Or they will remember you. Or this happened to me a few times. I sent the resume, and then this person didn't know me, but when they invited some of the people to interview me, one of those knew me. Like
yeah.
the other people that were interviewed. Oh, I know
Oh,
that
that's so
guy. I
funny.
remember you.
That's
You know.
funny. Yeah, I
So
mean, it's funny because like it's like full circle because like when I was talking to that guy who introduced me to Josh, and then I talked to Josh like a few days later,
uh,
and then he saw my resume like after that, and then he was looking at my LinkedIn, and then he's like, oh, he used to work at the General. So then he called up Mark, who worked at the General. He's like, hey, do you know this guy? And Mark is like, I hired this guy. And so then it's like,
yeah.
yes, yes, and then also when you network, it's
Mhm.
so easy to be able to help somebody else too. I love
Correct.
doing that too,
Yeah,
because I've connected people like somebody who is looking for a job with
correct.
somebody who's hiring for that job,
We did that too.
or yeah, or like somebody who like just needs a connection in some kind of in some company just for whatever. And it's like, hey, do you know this person? Yeah, I know that person, and so let's get into a conversation.
Yeah,
I've done
so
that a lot, and it's a
it
lot
was
of fun.
we've done a lot, and then what happened was I started going to the user group a lot and participating, and then a few years after, like not too much, but a few years after, I became a user group leader in the state of Florida,
Mm,
and then what happened? too was when COVID hit. This was when it was incredible. I mean, when COVID hit, nobody was doing user groups, like it was tough, and then we transitioned to online, and then we said, wait a minute, we're getting triple the people that we used to get in when we used to do it in person, and then we called Tableau. Tableau contacted us, and kind of like it was kind of like mutual, and then they said, well, look, this user group is becoming huge. And then they changed the name at that time from Orlando Tableau User Group to Florida Tableau User Group, because the
Wow.
ones from Miami, Tampa, Jacksonville were not doing anything. This was through COVID, and they changed the name, and everybody came to ours. During those years, not right now, but during those years, we were the fourth largest user group in the state, in the United States. In the United States,
Oh
yeah.
my
No, I don't
gosh.
know if outside the United States, but in the United States, we were the fourth largest,
Wow.
almost the third, because we were very close to the third.
Wow.
Um, so, and then we did it for many, many years. I was involved with the user groups for 11 years exactly.
Wow.
Now, in the last 2 years or so, they changed a lot of things with the user
Mhm.
groups, and people just started not showing up as before, and it was
Yeah.
kind of hard to get people to get involved as a leader. So 6 months ago or so, we closed the user group, unfortunately. Yeah,
Oh man, that's so crazy. Yeah,
yeah,
the every for everything there's a season, and sometimes it just like um I think I actually think back a lot of my time at data meeting as like one of the it was so fun because there was so much stuff happening. I was working with all these big brain people and the big brain guy,
mhm,
and and learning a lot. Man, you said that you had like a bunch of different things. You did so many different things that you never like did before in your career. Yeah, I learned a lot too.
yeah.
But like, when it's time to move on, it's time to move on. And
Correct, correct. No,
and
I
I
learned
feel
this
like
too. You
I've
know,
had some pretty good experiences after that. But so how long were you in consulting?
So I was almost 4 years, I will say, like
Mhm.
4 years. But to be honest, I think the first years with Andrew and you and us in the data meeting was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
um, because I learned a lot of new things that I didn't know, that I didn't ever experience. I was able to work with different companies like you did, like different clients. So different types of data, different types of,
Yeah.
let's say, this department versus this department, like, or like, I think the industries was the most fun, right? Because you could work with, let's say, a company like a retail company
Yeah.
versus I don't know, like maybe a healthcare company. Like you were
Yeah.
able to like do that, and for me that was very beneficial, because kind of like I started to think what type of really industry I likes,
Yeah.
which people are nicer, easier to work with, or the type of data that I like. And I started to like looking at that in a different way, where but it allows you to do that now as a consultant. The other thing that is amazing, that I think is amazing, I still love it, is that you were able to get access to the greatest and the latest things.
Yes.
You will
Yeah.
get also able to get certifications. And you remember that, all the certification that we were getting,
Mhm.
and free. And
Yeah.
you were able to get like a lot of different like courses or like training for free, because you are a partner, and then they will give you that. So
Yeah.
those things you will never get in a company. I mean, it's going to be
Yeah.
tough to get in a company, and they will give
Oh,
you
yeah.
the time. I also, when I was a data meeting, I was also a trainer. So
Oh,
Tableau,
yeah. That's
and then
right.
I never imagined in my life that I was going to be a trainer. Did you? I mean, it was, a trainer online, an online trainer for Tableau. So I became a certified Tableau trainer through Salesforce, through Tableau, and that
Wow.
was fun. That was a lot of. I mean, I never thought that I will have students. I will have to run a class. Like things that it will help. It always helps me, because, for example, where I am right now, I'm on work now for Chick-fil-A corporate. I am actually, today they contacted me, another team that I don't even know who they are, to see if I can give them like a 2-hour workshop for Tableau.
Oh,
And
yeah.
yeah, that's
Those are my
fun.
favorites. Man,
And
that those are actually my favorites. So,
yeah,
I was an Alteryx trainer too.
yeah,
So I always tell people like because they're like, "Oh, you're outgoing, so it must have been easy." No, like the first class, it was awful. I
Yeah.
had like I had like 300 people in the class, and
Uh-huh.
it was all on Zoom,
Uh-huh.
and only one person turned on their camera. And so,
Uh-huh.
like being an extrovert, I want to read your face, and so I'm like, I don't know if this is are you guys understanding this and that. And then that one guy who had his camera on, he came in late, and then when he turned his camera on, thankfully, I mean, everybody's working from home. Thankfully, he was wearing pants because he got up and then he came back with a bowl of cereal. And I kid you not, was eating his cereal like this. Mwah, mwah, mwah. In the camera. It was so distracting.
Uh-huh.
And I tell people all the time, man, I bombed. I bombed my first class, and Pedro actually took me out of that class and put somebody else on there. And he said, "Okay, we're gonna start you with a smaller class." So my next class for like 2 weeks was 3 people. But I eventually, got some of the
Yeah.
bigger classes. But yeah, oh man. It was fun. Teaching is fun.
Yeah,
I
teaching
love
is
it.
fun. That was very fun. I actually learned that I did like it, enjoy it. Like I said, I like this. I mean, it's a thing. You have to be very good at it, or like a little bit stressful because you have to run the thing. You have to make sometimes it doesn't work right, but
Mhm.
it was a good learning experience. Very good,
Yeah, my
and
favorite
like better than what I thought. I never thought that it would be good.
my my favorite thing about teaching is sharing my screen and saying, so this is how you do this thing, and then you do it and it doesn't work. It's like, oh, every time I'm like, yeah, this is the way that you do it. No, that's not the way you do it. No, that's not
Yeah,
my
yeah.
favorite thing. It was
It,
awful.
it's fun. Yeah, no, I actually it was fun. So I did that, and then I moved to another company, which it was kind of like we were doing also some consultant and also working for the company.
Mhm,
And then the company name was Sick Data. So
mhm,
it was kind of like data me into a small company and stuff. And then, but I actually learn after doing it for a few years that when you get to a point where you're saying, okay, look, this was a great experience, I
mhm,
learned a lot, but I feel like I want to move on. I think I understand now what is to be a consultant.
mhm,
Not that I don't hate it or anything, I don't think I hate it, but I was like depends on your life, like your family and stuff like that, and you and your age, you're like, I prefer to work for a normal regular company, and I can bring all those new skills and learning to this new other company.
yeah, yeah.
And then I joined Chick-fil-A, which honestly I love everything about it. And my goal is to stay in Chick-fil-A, to be honest, until I
Oh,
retire.
that's
That's the
awesome.
goal. Yeah,
And
that's the goal.
speaking of Chick-fil-A, I'm pretty sure that's what I'm eating for lunch tomorrow. But,
Yeah.
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 Yeah, we have one on site at work. But, so my last guest was a guy that I worked with at the consulting firm after I left Data Meeting, and
Yeah.
I asked him the same question I'm about to ask you, but, I wanna know, like, just like if you were to give 3 pros, 3 cons, right, to somebody who's interested or thinking about consulting, what would your like let's give the cons first. Let's start with negative and then end on a positive note. So, 3 things that you either like did not like about consulting or like really it's something that they would have to consider
Yeah.
seriously before going into it.
Yeah. So definitely, I think. I mean, let me start. Well, I'm gonna tell you that later. But why I think everybody should do it. Honestly, I think so, and I will tell you later why. Like I recommend that to anybody now. But
We're on
one
the
of the things
negatives, negatives.
the negatives. Okay, why I didn't like it? One thing, I felt like I had too many bosses. I felt like I had a like it was not only your current like manager or boss, and your clients, each one becomes another manager or boss. So it's kind
Yeah.
of tough to deal with that. Now, I think if you do it for 10 years or so, you'll be okay with that. And then you will see more of the positive than negative, but it was a little bit hard to please so many people at the same time, right? It was kind of hard. Yeah, it was kind of hard to do that, and it depends on your clients. So maybe when you have two or three is fine, but if you have too many clients, it's tough. The other thing that I didn't like, I honestly didn't like the thing about having to I will say to like be sure about every single minute and hour of what you're doing or what you're like putting all of that there and saying, well, we're today's 4.5 hours on this, and it was a lot of documentation and a lot of
Yeah.
like explaining all of that, which I was not. It's not something that I knew how to do, or like I worked for so many years before becoming a consultant. So when I became a consultant, I was already in the corporate America for over 20 years. So for me, going to consultant, it was like, whoa, wow, how do I have to do all of this? To explain everything, to put it out there, to record your hours. Sometimes like it was tough. It was tough because you have to keep up with that, and it was a lot of keep up.
Yeah.
And let me see. The other thing that I didn't like, um, it was hard to to say. I mean, it was something that you will learn through time, but it was tough at the beginning to say, okay, I have to do this, and I think it's going to take me 5 hours to do it.
Oh, scoping.
The scope,
I
and
already
then
knew it. Oh, terrible.
sometimes I miss
Yeah.
badly,
Yeah.
and it took me double.
Yeah.
And then it was hard. I mean, it was hard, but I think as you do more of it, you will get better at it. It's just at the beginning is very
Yeah.
tough. I mean,
Scoping.
the first year, probably it will take. For me, it took me like a year. I said to do it better. Like the
Yeah.
first year was a disaster. Like the first year was like, oh, this is gonna take me 4 hours. I'm gonna get this dashboard done.
Yeah.
Da, 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 and it didn't work.
How many
Uh,
story points? Fibonacci numbers only.
yeah. What was your the three? I'm curious. What were your three for you?
Three. Oh man, number one, maybe billable hours,
Billable hours.
just like you
Yes.
said, because it's like somebody else scoped the project for me,
Uh,
and then so I'm like, okay, cool. I have 20 hours to finish this, and then I'm like analyzing the data, and it's like what has to be done, what all the things that I have to do, and I'm like, dude, it's gonna take me like 60 hours, and they're like, well, the client only bought 20 hours, and I'm
wait.
like, what? What the heck, man? How am I
Uh-huh.
going to do this, right? And
That's
so
true.
it was like the billable hours thing, and then working long hours.
Yeah.
There were
Oh, yeah.
times where I worked 60, 80 hours a week,
Yeah. For me, it was
and
too
it
much.
was like terrible, terrible for my health.
Yes.
I
Absolutely.
thought I was having a heart attack twice over like a couple different years, and I was like, oh, here we are again. And then I did the same test, and it's like, oh no, it's just like major
Right.
anxiety
Yeah.
because I only have like 16 billable hours left, and I have like 80 hours of work to do, right? And it's not like I was just messing around, I wasn't just messing around. I was doing my job, but somebody just didn't didn't scope it right. So there's like the whole
Right.
billable hours thing,
That's
keeping track of it. I would say that's all one, billable hours and scoping.
Yeah.
I don't know, maybe. And then like working long hours. And then sometimes like, being able to take PTO. I worked
Yeah.
for a company that had unlimited PTO. What they mean by that is you only get to take PTO when I tell you can take PTO.
When you're free.
I mean,
Yeah.
when you're free, and it's like, I wanted to, I'm like, I want to take, I don't want people to schedule meetings in the middle of my lunchtime. I hate that.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I don't want to eat at my desk. I need to take a break from my computer. But, one of my bosses is like, you take a break when, if there's nothing scheduled on your, if a client can only make it during your lunch, then you're eating your lunch at your desk or you're not eating until it's done. And I'm like, I actually lived that life already in aircraft maintenance when I was in
Exactly.
the Air Force. And it's like, um, I'm out on the plane and there's nobody to relieve me, and regular lunchtime comes and goes, and I'm like, well, I guess I'm eating lunch when I get off work at like 3:30 or 4:30 or whatever. And it's not great health wise for like consistency and fitness, and like
Mhm.
trying to get a good workout in,
Yeah.
after work when I'm starving. It's not great, you know. So I would say those things, and they're all, you know, actually for me, they're all health related. So
Yeah,
I really, really
I agree
loved
with you.
working in all the different industries. I loved meeting all the different people. I love the client facing stuff, man. You know, I chat up with anybody, any of the clients, and a couple of the companies I work for, they like to put me in with some of the really disgruntled clients. And like for
Yeah,
real, that's what they did. They were like, "Oh yeah, we'll put Tito over there because he's good with people." And I'm like, "Okay, why is this my life? It's my life, I guess." But it was, even though they were like disgruntled, I still had a you know good time for the most part. I don't think I really had a client that's like, "Oh, I hate working with that person," or whatever. But
yeah,
yeah, it was definitely health related
yeah,
health related for me. I couldn't do it anymore.
definitely,
So,
definitely.
what are your pros? Let's give
I think
three pros.
the pros for me was the opportunity to the number one that I liked was that opportunity of learning about different industries and their data. And definitely I like it. I mean, I really like. I always wanted that, just to test, just to check, just to like learn something about. Like for example, we work for Volkswagen, and that I think that was a lot of fun. And then other type of company like Mastercard and etc. So I
Oh yeah.
think that it was, you remember Master. So I think it was fun to work for different companies, meet people from those places too, because then you were like, this is good. This could be a good team, or like this is
Yeah.
gonna be a good place. And but learning from different industries and stuff, it makes you really good. And I also like the diversity of the projects. So for example, when you work for a company all the time, probably your projects are like maybe similar. You're doing a lot of maintenance on reporting, dashboard. You're like maintaining what you built for a long time. And sometimes it's hard to bring a new little project that is
Yeah.
exciting or something new. So for me, it was cool to do all that. And I did love the idea of keep myself, because they push me. Like when you're a consultant, you feel obligated to push yourself to like learn something new, to get a
Yeah.
new certification, access to that. And the
Hmm.
company's kind of telling you, hey, look, you need to get this certificate, you need to do this, you need to do that. So that was a good thing. Um, and I think that's about it. And then the thing about promoting, I mean, kept that thing about promoting, LinkedIn, going to conferences, going to this, promoting yourself, meeting a lot of people. So as
Yeah.
a consultant, it helps you. It's not that difficult to meet a lot, like you said, to increase
Oh
your
yeah.
LinkedIn, to meet a lot of people, to network. That's kind of like not that difficult, right? To
Yeah.
do that. But I think that I think it was good for me, but it was time to turn the page, pretty
Yeah.
much. And I really think that it helped me to get the job that I have right now. For sure, it helped me.
Yeah.
And I feel like that when I wanted to apply to Chick-fil-A and the people that I knew and stuff, it really helped me to go through all of that. And but I think that now it's time to stay relaxed, a little bit relaxed, and don't go through consulting
Yeah.
anymore. Yeah,
Oh
I,
man, you know,
don't want to do it anymore. Yeah,
that's so
yeah,
funny. Yeah.
yeah, yeah,
Um
yeah.
you know what? I can't even believe it's already almost been an hour.
Oh yeah,
You know, it's been really good catching up with you.
yeah,
And like hearing
absolutely.
hearing all your stories from, you know, the beginning of your career, not in even in college. Um, I just want to know if you have like one bit of advice for the audience listening,
Yes.
watching. If there's something that, let's say somebody is looking at a different career path, if
Hmm.
there's one piece of advice that you could give them, what would it be?
I think two things. I will say two things. The first one is try to become as good as you can with that network in LinkedIn specifically. Try to, if you're starting out, you're trying to go to another career, try to become a master of LinkedIn, social media, etc. Start right there. I mean, don't iterate, change your profile, your picture. I feel if I were gonna do this all over again, I will embrace AI all over the place. I mean, I try to learn as much as I can with AI. related to that. To okay, let me use AI to improve my profile, to improve how I can network. I will, for example, if I were going to do that, I will start posting on LinkedIn about the industry. Like, let's say that like Tito said, I want to go into like insurance industry as a consultant, or like, sorry, yes, as a consultant, or like maybe as an analyst. Learn about that, and start posting how would you maybe solve a problem related to that industry, or
Mm.
like if you're an analyst, or like a Tableau guy or Alters guy. I mean, put a project there, or like for example, for Tableau will be to put out there a dashboard to say how can you do this with this data related to that specific industry, but post it. Start getting involved with that community, specifically if there is a community, a user group. Get involved in all of that, but really get involved. It's not going to be in a month. It's going to take you 6 months, a year,
Yeah.
but start building something. It's like building a portfolio.
Yeah.
I really think the portfolio, no matter what you do, no, it doesn't matter, Tableau, Alteryx, whatever, AI, it will help you. People will see it. People will notice. You will meet people. People will put post. Maybe they will say they like it or like it. And then when you talk to people in an interview, or if you send something, that's the greatest piece of thing that you can talk to them about that thing that you post, the project, your portfolio. It will always help you. I think that's what I will do if I were like somebody starting out or doing things. Like, it's just never forget about that portfolio, about LinkedIn, like build all of that, post as much as you
Hmm.
can. Also, one of the things that helped me a lot at the beginning too was that I always say yes to whoever wanted me, like needed oh, can you come and
Yeah.
talk to us, or talk to, I don't know, whatever presentation. And honestly, sometimes we didn't even need a presentation. It was just more about like what we're doing right now, or like your experience. It was only 5 minutes in a user group, 10 minutes. Sometimes it were like only 3 or 4 slides. Honestly, super easy. Now you can do it with AI, so there's no
Hmm.
excuse. So, but being out there in other user groups or other community events and saying, I want to, yeah, I'm going to present, even if it's like whatever it is, it will always help you. So, for example,
Hmm.
I presented in, I lost count, 3 or 4 conferences. I think it's like 4 conferences. So 4 Tableau conferences. I actually had a presentation, like an actual presentation with a large, massive group of people, where they selected my presentation for a session. So it was a session in the Tableau conference, and honestly, to get there, it was not that hard. It was not that difficult. It was just like, hey, yeah, I just submitted it. You have to submit your presentation,
Hmm.
but you will learn from other people, or you just ask, how can I present? How can I send it better? How can I make a better summary, better slides? Like, that's how I did it. I was selected all the time because I kind of learned how to submit it, how to like send something that people will really interested. And
Hmm.
then they selected me. I'm pretty sure I did like 4 times, and that really helped me because they will post that everywhere. There will be a video in the Tableau conference. You will just meet people after your conference. Oh, I went to your session yesterday. I went to your session this
Hmm.
morning or this
Yeah.
afternoon. Like at night, even at night, on some of the parties and things and festivities, they were like, "Hey, I went to your session today," and it was like 9 p.m. Or I found this person in San Diego walking. Hey, I went to your session yesterday. So
That's funny.
it was funny and great at the same time. And those are the type of things that will seriously help you land that great job that you're always looking for, waiting
Yeah.
for.
Yeah.
I honestly think that the job that I have want right now, that is kind of like my dream job, they always wanted, with a great company, is because I did all of that. But it didn't took 1 year. This was a journey, like this
Yeah.
show. It was a journey. It was like 11, 12 years. It was
Yeah.
like doing all of these things for over a decade.
Yeah.
Took me here, but it was like, it takes time. But if you that's your goal, I mean, it will work. It will really
Yeah.
work. It will work.
Well, man, that's some really good advice, man. I appreciate you coming on the show.
Yeah.
It's good catching up once again.
Yeah.
And I think I'm going to go ahead and sign off. Um,
Yeah.
so, everybody, I'm still confirming the next guest,
Okay.
but whoever that person is going to be, the person on the schedule has not gotten back to me, but if she is going to make it, it will
Yeah.
be in 2 weeks.
Awesome.
So give ourselves 1 week off again, and then head back into it. Somebody just messaged me. Who's messaging me in the middle of my show? Oh, LinkedIn's economic graph. What is that? Get workforce insights. Okay. All right. So we're just gonna kill the stream. So
Yeah, no problem.
anyway, you guys have